Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And welcome back to the show. We are excited to have Joseph Werner today live on the podcast as well as a Zoom cast from Melbourne, Florida. We get to see him here in person today, which is great. He's the owner and family therapist at Child and Family Consultants Incorporated, again, serving Melbourne, Florida and the surrounding area. We're excited to have him here to talk more about the work he does and how he's been helping Brevard County for 28 years or so?
Pretty close. Child and Family Consultants started in 1993. So we've been serving children and families in Brevard County for 30 years now. And we really enjoyed our opportunity to provide service to those kids and families. And we really appreciate the feedback we've gotten from everybody, too, about our good work.
Beautiful. We're talking everything from occupational therapy, speech therapy, sensory issues, feeding issues, and even, of course, you specialize in autism services as well.
That's correct. We have a wide variety of clients, everyone from infancy all the way up through young adulthood, and we see kids with a wide variety of issues and families who have a lot of different concerns about their kids, and that's one of the things I wanted to talk to about today, because when families have a child who's having some difficulties, it's always a very anxious process for them too, because they want to discover why their child might be having some difficulties either with movement or speech or understanding the sensory world or their behavior at school or with friends. And so here at Child and Family Consultants, we're therapists, and we provide this therapeutic support and relationship with the family, but we also collaborate with the family on problem solving. And, how do we help the family understand their child, where their child's behavior is coming from? What things can the family do to facilitate their child's development? We also want the family members too to become good problem solvers, because sometimes we can make a lot of improvements with a child who has a diagnosis of autism or learning disabilities or anxiety, but sometimes these are issues which are going to be lifelong, and you're not going to be coming to therapy for the rest of your life. But if we can help the family members feel confident in their ability to understand and manage their child, and if we can help them learn how to be good problem solvers, then they can help their kids when their kids are 3 and 5 and even 15 or 20 for that matter. So we do a lot of work both with the kids and just as much with the families.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And we should point out how we could reach out to you before we continue, if you don't mind.
Sure. Child and Family Consultants, our phone number is area code 321-768-6800. And if you wanted to reach us by email, our email address is childandfamily@cfl.rr.com. And that's all spelled out, childandfamily@cfl.rr.com.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Well, also, let's point out you've been doing this for so many years and you clearly love what you do. Let's talk about the process of coming on in to become, part of the family, I should say, because you guys are like a family there, right?
Yes, we are, and that's the way we like to see ourselves too. So the first step is actually, even before a family comes into the office, they're probably going to call up the office and they're going to meet our receptionist, who's going to help them understand the importance of getting the prescriptions, and then helping to set up an evaluation time that will also fit with what the family's and the child's needs are. So we really try to accommodate for that. Family's probably going to talk to the office manager or our billing person so that we get everything straightened out about finances and any other issues that might be coming up. the family's concerns for bringing their child to the therapy session. And so before the child has even stepped through the door, the therapeutic process has already begun.
Mm-hmm.
Once the family comes into our office, we do very thorough evaluations, which can include either occupational therapy or speech therapy. And the first question we always ask parents is, who is your child as a person? So we're not going to look at the children as, who they might be in terms of even what their difficulties are or
Mm-hmm.
what a diagnosis is. We want to understand who the child is as a person, and then we can get to know them as a person, and then we can come up with the best therapeutic plan. The next thing is we want to also begin this process of supporting the family, and we want to find out what the family's goals and values and hopes and dreams for their child is too. The therapy process at Child and Family Consultants is what's called an evidence-based practice protocol. And what evidence-based practice means is that we start out our therapy using the top of the triangle being the best scientific evidence we have for what types of therapy treatments work in understanding a child's
Mm-hmm.
behavior and facilitating their progress. And then the next corner of the triangle is the family values and hopes and concerns. And then the third part of the triangle is the therapist's knowledge, expertise, and experience. And it's that combination that comes together that really creates the progress in any client, whether they be a child or whether they be a family.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
And what other details of your practice and those you're helping did you want to make sure that we go over for today?
Well, one of the things that I want to go over is some of the things that we do that parents can really do to help their own kids. And one of the things that we teach everybody is called a phenomenal five. And the phenomenal five is we make sure that the kids are eating well and they get a good nutrition, that they're sleeping well, because if they're not sleeping well, that's definitely going to affect their behavior the next day, that they've got some good social contacts, that they've got friends, they're able to make friends, they're able to have good relationships with their family. The next thing is we want to make sure that they're staying hydrated, that they're getting plenty of water during the day, and particularly in warm places like Florida, that's important. And most people forget that when you wake up in the morning, you're actually a little dehydrated. You haven't had any fluids for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours, and we wake up a little dehydrated. And it's important to get a little bit of water or juice in your system when you wake up. And then the last part of the phenomenal five is exercise, making sure that kids are getting out and they're moving and they're playing. Doesn't matter whether you are a child or an adult, the best way to get rid of stress is exercise. And if you have sensory sensitivities, the best way to help you overcome some of those is actually to be outside. It's to be able to. It's walking outside. It's noticing the rain or the dryness. It's being in the grass or the sand or the surf. Um, Noticing the flowers and so forth. So being outside gives your nervous system. It's like a vitamin, and it just helps your whole body and your nervous system be able to manage and cope with whatever stresses that you might have during the day.
Any advice for us? Yeah, today. What can we do to relieve stress, right? Because since the pandemic, you hear about overwhelm, anxiety, angst, and there's been an uptick in this, and we talked about that
Oh,
in the
absolutely.
past. But what would you say to someone who's still feeling overwhelming, anxious, and yeah?
Well, the first thing to do is to try to make sure that you've got somebody who is available to support you, whether it's a friend, a parent, a sibling, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent. We all need somebody to help us get through the rough spots. And we also all need somebody who believes in us. One of the most important things that we teach parents too to convey to their kids is that, even if their child's having difficulty, we believe that you've got the inner strength. that you can do this and that we're here to help support you. And if you fall, that's okay, because we're just going to get up and we're going to be able to go out and try again. But we're here to support you. So the first thing is having that social connectedness. Another thing that I tell everybody too is that I'm also the director of the Brevard Autism 5K Walk Run for Autism Awareness,
Aw.
and one of the taglines for our race is that families that walk together and run together stay together. And I think not only for families who have kids with anxiety issues and other difficulties, but even for all of us, um, if you can go out and take walks, sometimes they're peaceful walks by yourself, but also going out with family members. I guarantee that when you are going out and taking a walk or a run with a family member, you're going to enjoy the connection that you have. You're going to enjoy being outside, and you're going to be surprised at how much easier it is to have a conversation. Sometimes even conversations about things that are difficult to talk about, because when you're walking or even doing a little bit of running, your brain just relaxes a little bit and allows you to be able to talk about the things that are on your mind and express your feelings in a way that a lot of times is a lot harder to do if you're just sitting across the table from somebody and somebody's asking you questions.
Well, let's remind everyone how we can reach out to you. Could you share the website and the phone number?
Absolutely. So the our email address is childandfamily@cfl.rr.com, and our phone number is area code 321-768-6800. And the interesting thing about the area code is it has to do with the space facility, 321
Oh,
blast off, and that's how we got our area code.
I didn't know that. That is, I thank
That's
you so
right.
much for sharing that. Oh,
That's
that's
right.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, let's also ask, just for those wondering, do you accept insurance? I mean, could you share a little bit about that? Because, any type of care could be
Oh,
expensive, and people may
a-
be wondering.
absolutely. One of the most difficult things about healthcare is how do you go about affording it? And so we try to be as diverse as possible when working with families, because we know there's a lot of families who struggle with healthcare costs.
Yeah,
So we take just about all of the major insurances. We take most of the Medicaid HMOs that are in the state of Florida. Um, at times, we take private pay too. And our excellent staff will sit down with families and help them work through and figure out how do we get the services that the child and the family need, if at all possible. And that means sometimes we're flexible with how we do the payments and so forth. But we have lots of flexibility in trying to help parents. We don't want finances to be the reason that a child can't get the therapy services that they need.
oh, well, thank you. That's very important to know. And by the way, you working strictly with people and patients in Florida? Do you work with anyone out of state?
Well, we occasionally have people who live out of state or sometimes even live out of the country. And so, for example, they might come here on a summer vacation. We've had clients from England and from South America, and they're here for a few months during the summer, and but they want to keep their child involved in some ongoing therapy services, and so they come into our
Got it.
office. And we when we have our clients there, we always offer them the opportunity to call us wherever they are, and we will try to answer any questions that they might have coming up. The rules in the state of Florida don't really allow us to do telehealth outside of the state, but if anybody wants to call and ask a question, we're more than happy to provide any information or support, or to help them try to find support wherever they may be located.
Oh, Thank you so much for sharing that. Well, also let's
You're
point
welcome.
out, the types of people that you're helping. And again, serving the county for over 30 years, childandfamilyconsultants.com. Go to their website and you can check out, they have a whole team, different focus, different areas. And I know we talked a little about autism. Then there's the speech language therapy. Do you want to dive into some other areas of focus that that you guys all help with? My goodness, you have, by the way, why don't you share a little bit about the team, by the way? Was that Deborah on the camera before?
Well, that was you. I think you saw Miss Pam before,
Oh, I
and
saw a quick
she's
a half
yep.
shot, so I didn't know.
That was
Okay.
that was our office manager, Miss Pam, and she
Pam
does a
Miller.
Pam Miller. That's right, and she does an excellent job. And we've got we really have terrific occupational therapists, occupational therapy assistants, and speech therapists. They're all not only very knowledgeable, but they're great caregivers too. And the other thing is that everybody here on staff has great respect for families and parents. Um, we see lots of parents and families that are under different types of stress. We have families with grandparents raising kids. We've got parents where it's just a single mom, um, teenage moms, even just about any family constitution you could think of. Um, we come through the doors here, and our staff is really excellent at understanding where the parents and the kids are coming from, and it's not about just trying to set up activities and then trying to get the child to either speak some words or articulate in a certain way or be able to play better, but it's really helping the parents then understand that this is one way you can play with your child to develop that speech. This is how you get on the floor. Our speech therapists are terrific in terms of getting on the floor with the kids and getting them in play situations and then coaching the parents about how they can do the same thing. And sometimes that's hard to do. Parents, particularly if you have kids with autism who are not necessarily easy to get to communicate, sometimes it's a little scary for parents to get down on the floor, but our therapists know a way of making it fun for the parents and making it comfortable for them. And then when the parents are having fun and the kids are having fun, then you know that the therapy is really happening. And that's a great thing to see in our kids and our families.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And Joseph, again, to point out children, adolescents, teenagers, and what age do you treat up until?
Well, we treat just about everybody, but really our expertise goes up to about age 30. But we
Okay,
actually have a couple of adults who have been with the office on and off for many years who we continue to see, and we continue to help their families too.
got it. Awesome. And clearly you're passionate about this. I want to know a little about your background, what brought you into this
Sure.
field to begin with.
Well, I came from a background where uh, I know my family was really hoping that I might go into either business or law, and those are terrific professions. But I think I always had an orientation towards really healthcare. And maybe that's partially because my mom was a nurse. And so maybe I inherited some
Go
healthcare
Gene.
related genes there. But I wound up doing some volunteer work at a facility for children who had United cerebral palsy in Staten Island, New York. And that's one of the things that I recommend to all young people. I've given talks at colleges and so forth to if you're interested in the healthcare field, find a place where you can volunteer. You will not only open your eyes up to exactly what healthcare is, but you're going to find out is this something that you really feel passionate about? And healthcare is not really just it's not a job. It's really a career because you do put so much of your own emotions into your clients and in your work. So it's just not a job that you're going to do from 9 to 5 and then you go home and you forget about it. We make an impact on the lives of the families that come to us, but they also make an impact on us, and that's what keeps everybody who's a good healthcare provider continuing to come back every morning.
Got it. No, thank you for sharing that. And I mean, in all your years, I mean, you've seen so many different types of patients and helped so
Mhm.
many. What does the community say about you? What are some of the parents come in and children? They must look forward to coming to see you, right? You made a lot of friends.
We have, sometimes parents will tell us that they were driving by their office and their child said, Dr. Joe's, and then they may be headed to the store, but the kids are saying Dr. Joe's. They want they want to stop in again, or they'll ask their kids where do they want to go after school, and the kids will say Child and Family, Dr. Joe's, Dr. Sue's. So the kids really enjoy coming here, and that's always great to hear that they feel like they enjoy it enough, because the kids do have to work hard. If you think about it from a kid's perspective, they're coming to a therapy session, and even though we're making things as fun as possible for them, most of them are having to work on the stuff that they recognize is really hard for them to do. And even typical kids don't necessarily want to work on the stuff that's hardest for them to do. They want to work on the stuff that's they're comfortable with, or they know how to do already, or they think they know how to do. So when the kids are coming in here, if they've been struggling with handwriting, communicating, and making friends, then working on those types of activities and exercises is not necessarily in the front of their minds, but we're able to use a lot of play as a way of enticing the kids in. There's an old therapy expression that says you can't impose exercises on kids; you have to entice them into it, and that's really what we try to do. And you see that when the kids are smiling and again having fun, when they're interacting with the therapist, and the kids are learning through hands-on experiences, and the therapists work through hands-on experiences with the children.
Well, thank you so much. In our last 2 minutes of the show, how did you want to leave off with your listeners and viewers here today?
Well, I wanted to leave everybody with a quote from a gentleman by the name of Hans Asperger, who Asperger syndrome was named after him,
Oh,
and
okay.
his comment was that what children with autism need is understanding teachers, accommodating employers, supportive society, and parents who have faith in their children's potential. And that's a very powerful combination. And I think even though he was talking about kids with autism, I think you could say that about any child to be successful in their life needs understanding teachers, accommodating employers, supportive society, and parents who have faith and believe in their child's potential. And that's something that all of us want to communicate to our kids every day.
Got it. All right. Well, thank you so much. Pleasure having you back. Good to
You're
see you
welcome.
here in person. And again, if
Thank
you
you.
want to reach out, Joseph, they can call. Can they ask for you?
Yeah, they can ask for me. And if I'm not busy working with someone, I'll be on the phone and I'll be there talking with them.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. All right. Pleasure to have
You're
you.
welcome.
And looking
Thank you.
forward to the next time. Tell everyone in the office I said hello, okay?
Will do. Can't wait to see you next time. And you have a great Thanksgiving.
Oh, you too. Okay, so we're not
Yes.
back next week, or is
Yes,
next week
we'll be. I'll
Thanksgiving?
be next week. I'll be away making Thanksgiving meal for my parents. So, but I'll
Where is
see you
that?
in that's in Staten Island, New York.
Yay, you're coming
Yay!
close. I'm on the other island. I'm on the island of Long Island.
Long Island. Yeah, well, not that far away. I've got
You live
relatives
what
there
do you live
too.
are they off of Victory Boulevard? Where are they?
Well, actually, they're not far from Victory Boulevard.
I have my friends are over
Yes,
there. I love it there. Oh, we'll enjoy coming home in a sense. All right, bye-bye.
I
Thank you so
will.
much.
Okay.
Bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
Mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.